Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, 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 my lovelies, and welcome back. Hey, Pat, Serena. Serena and I are here to tell you some more wonderful stories. Well, at least I hope mine's wonderful. I am proud of it, and it has the feeling of home because I based it in my uncle's house. Hi, Serena, how are you doing?
I am fine. It has been a weird week already. So,
Oh, yeah. What is your story about today?
well, mine is about a little western town and the choices that they made. I called it the hanging
Ooh,
tree.
I look
So,
forward. Okay, ever since you told me the name, I don't remember reading it, so I don't think you've given it to me yet.
I don't know if I have or not. It's one of those that it's short story that I ended up doing for my blog, and I don't know if I passed it to you or not. And yeah,
Okay,
it I might have or I might not have. I don't know. You want me to
okay.
go ahead and read it?
Then I am going to pass it off to you, and you read to us, and then we'll talk about all the things afterwards.
Though I have never understood the fascination with death, the stories of executions sell papers. Journalistic standards require us to write the truth, though I fair doubt that any will believe the tale I will be writing today, that was not there to witness it in person. I wonder if I shouldn't just give up the fight and sell the tale to the penny dreadfuls and be done with it. We might end up there anyway. I have dutifully witnessed nearly 100 hangings at the old tree in the town square, all with a sour stomach. I have recorded each scene down to the last detail, including the final words of the condemned. It has begun to feel like I was Charon ferrying the lost souls to their final destination. Normally, I am not as free with my prose in the description. This one was different. It hit harder. Firstly, it was the first woman I had seen meet the noose. Secondly, the weather was odd. I don't know, if I didn't know any better, I would have claimed that the sky mourned her death afore she had the chance to die. And lastly, she wore the habit of a nun. Everything about this felt wrong. The whole week has felt off. The nun had come to town alone. That was strange enough. She set herself up at the local church to help those who needed her. I'm still struggling to understand why she ended up hanging from the noose. The day she arrived in town, we had another execution. A killer. He deserved to hang. There was no doubt in anyone's mind. The nun insisted that the man at least deserved his last rites. There had not been a proper priest in town for a while, as the last fellow had died of cholera. The magistrate did not seem to know how to deal with such a pushy nun. Women were not allowed to be acting as clergy. At least that's what the whispers around town said. Now, don't misread me here. She did not immediately end up at the noose's end. Still, her behavior didn't put her on the town's good side. She seemed to have herself opinions, and they were not suitable for a lady, much less a woman of the Lord. I believe she irritated the magistrate most, though only the devil knows why. She was obviously brash and opinionated. She would feed the Negroes and the good-for-nots. She crafted potions that she claimed would heal the sick, though I must be plain that I had not tried them. In another place and time this woman might have been celebrated. This was not such a place nor time. El Paso is barely civilized. Our tiny little town was even worse. The West is still wild. The year of our Lord 1895 is an innovative time about many a thing, but I believe she was just too much. I'm frankly surprised she was not burnt as a witch. I'm still unsure if she was a true lady of the Lord or a witch sent from hell itself. I believe she was a test either way, and I'm not sure if we passed. The nun and the magistrate continued to come to terms several more times during the week after she arrived. She was arrested for causing a disturbance of the peace. That has ne'er been a hanging offense afore, yet the notice of execution went up immediately after she was detained. I, as the town journalist, tried to interview the magistrate as to the reason why he was having her hung. He refused to answer my questions. I was also not allowed to visit her, to ask any questions of her. I have often been to the capital to argue for laws about execution. I firmly believe that there should be more involved than just a magistrate's ruling in the noose. I have yet to be successful there. I'm usually told that there is more involved, but that has not changed the way this town works. I don't know of anyone else being hung for being a disturbance of the peace. The wind was strong that day as they led her to the hanging tree. Might have been my imagination running wild, but I could have sworn I heard crying on the wind. I swear it should have been called off then and there. The wind was nearly pulling people up and carrying them off. The clouds were darkening the sky as if night had fallen. The rain started a slow drizzle, coating the entire area in a cold wetness. The dark wetness of the hanging tree nearly looked like it was covered in an unearthly blood seeping straight up from hell. The crowd always gathered for these things was uneasy and filled with discontent. A smart man would have canceled the execution. Our magistrate has never been accused of being smart. As they walked her to the tree, she was muttering prayers. She walked straight with her head high. Most cannot face the noose as they approach the tree and watch their feet as they walk. Not her. She walked straight, watching the noose, rattling prayers beneath her breath. I am firmly believing that the way she faced her death was unnerving to the people gathered. It was not long before half the crowd joined her in prayer. Normally I say that the one place I have never seen God is at an execution. That might have changed after hers. The magistrate forced her to remove the wimple before approaching the noose. He was none too gentle placing the rope around her neck. Eerily, her long hair seemed to reach for the tree. As tradition demanded, he asked if she had any final words. All are equal in the eyes of the Father. What is done to one shall be given to all. As soon as she said that last word, he kicked the lever to drop the door beneath her. The crack of her neck rattled, echoing around the town square. Imagination starts running wild at times like that, yet I swear I heard her say she was coming home. I realized it was impossible, as with a broken neck she was dead. Still, I think I'll not be going to any more executions. I plan to move as I want to be anywhere that the hanging tree is not.
That that is a really good story.
Thank you.
I That's another one where I can definitely feel the main character sentiment. And I'm not sure how to put how I feel other than wow.
Like I said, I wrote it for the blog, and it's going to end up in the Stacked Nightmares collection when I'm finished with that, which I'm not too awful far from being done with that one, I think, because I've got 2 more stories in it that I absolutely, 3 more stories that I absolutely want to finish. And then after that, I think I'll be moving to the next collection for her. Because there's the story for the fall anthology and then 2 others that I want to finish before I consider it done.
Okay. I have been working a whole lot on transitions, but um I've been obsessed with ghost stories a lot, and I wanted to do a paranormal episode that would actually make you think. And I'm hoping at least one part of it, of my story, can make you at least feel how I thought they felt it from the stories I heard. I don't know. The night after we laid her to rest, everyone had come together that rainy morning in remembrance of Granny Vera Estelle Smith. At noon, she was laid to rest, as the grown-ups say. It was so crowded around the small area they gave her at the areas they gave her at Jamie's Chapel Cemetery, almost right next to the church. The woods around the graveyard were beautiful despite the rain. We all came back to her house after and ate. It is still her house now that she passed away. Grandpa Jubal had built the house in 1865 after the Civil War, and now she guessed it belonged to Uncle Jubal, his namesake, who also served in a war. The grown-ups talked around the big dining table, and she tried to stay away from her cousins by sitting with them. The little ones all wanted to play and have fun, but having but she was having trouble with the fact that 3 days ago her best friend died in her sleep. So she just listened to the grown up stories. What was she supposed to do after school on weekdays when the parents were at work? Who was going to teach her stuff and tell her stories about the past? She was happy to see them all, but her brain was having trouble understanding everything. They tried to explain what she was feeling, that it didn't hurt like this forever. Whatever this grief was, she wished it would go away. After so many hours later, everyone went to bed and it was quiet. The quiet was so much better. Tabby and Tilly lay in their cots by the desk and window. Little Tabby was lightly snoring because her sinuses were running again. It didn't bother her, but her 7-year-old brain didn't understand why the grown-ups couldn't use their magic, horrible tasting liquids and pills to make it stop. It wasn't comfortable for her. Free, free. She turned her head, coming out of the dismal thoughts, expecting Uncle Jubal to be going past the door to the bathroom. If it wasn't for Tabby, it would be closed and the hallway light wouldn't be shining across the bed. That person passing by the door wasn't anyone she had met. He had raggedy, holey brown pants and a light faded, ragged shirt. His ebon hair was combined, combed back, and hung to his folded shirt collar. He looked familiar, like he was in one of the pictures downstairs. She didn't have the faintest idea who he was, so she slid her small, stocky form out of the bed and followed the man with the hair like hers. By the time she had gotten out to the hallway, he was at the attic stairs. She quietly snuck down the hall as he climbed the stairs. When she got to where he had sat across from a lady in a wooden rocking chair, her, from her uncle's pictures, holding a small girl, crouched down to listen. He was in a marrying rocking chair holding another small girl. They were whispering and she couldn't hear. They seemed so upset by whatever it was. They were angered and hurt. The lady began to cry and he started sobbing with her. Whatever it was made them snuggle closer to the little girls in pink blankets and cry harder. It seemed like one of those situations Mama says that she shouldn't be nosy about. She turned around to see Uncle Jubal standing behind her. He put a finger to his mouth and she nodded in understanding. They walked quietly as they could away. She walked to the restroom. After she finished, Uncle Jubal was gone. So she went back to bed and pondered over what she saw until she fell asleep. In the morning, while Mama and the aunt made breakfast and talked, Uncle Jubal told them the story of the people in the attic and Grandma. She thinks she has someone to talk to. He seems to understand the people no one else could see. Grandpa Gilbert and Grandma Lorraine had lived through the flu epidemic. So many people died that they knew. Her uncle Frank and James had passed away from the flu 76 years ago. It was devastating. Grandma and great aunt Martha Ann had been the babies they were holding. Martha Ann was sitting by the fireplace, rocking from the fireplace across from the table, listening with silent tears. They had tried to give them the best life they could. She knew both women led beautiful lives. Mama called them to the table, and she felt like she understood why they showed them what they saw last night. They wanted them to know their story too. She snuck up and whispered, "You can see them too?" To Uncle Jubal, he nodded yes. "Will you help me understand what they want?" she asked. He smiled. "Of course, baby doll." She hugged him and skipped off relieved to her seat by Tabby.
That was sweet. It was a really
I think
sweet.
Ron has a point. I tend to write ghost stories about children.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, and I don't know why. Maybe because I don't want my kids to be afraid.
Maybe.
I think that one coming out of COVID made me think about our ancestors and what they went through with the epidemic they had went through over 100 years ago
Yeah.
when we had lost so many people, and I it was much harder for them. They didn't have any of the technology we do now.
Right.
When would you say your story was set?
18. Shoot. It was 18 something. 1890.
Okay.
Give me a second. Open.
So our
There it is. I got it right here. I just had to
my
find where it is.
you found it?
Um, 1895. It was actually listed in the
1895.
story, so that's
Okay.
why I knew the exact year.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Okay. So my story within a story was not long after your story. Okay. Because I wasn't thinking it was like that far off, but I can say one thing about your stories. I have yet to find one I don't like.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm your biggest fan, but I do know I'm one of the bigger ones.
And that always makes me feel good because just the thought I have a fan, that it kind of, excuse me, it kind of has that, not sure how to feel about that. I never expected to have one kind of feeling, you know?
You are definitely not the first person to say that to me. I know 2 other people that are like, "Wait, you wanna read my stuff? My stuff matters?" And I'm like, "But you write really well. Just because nobody's figured out you exist yet doesn't mean that you aren't a good author."
For me, writing has always just been how I survive. It's been part of me. And the idea that somebody might actually want to read it was never taken into account, honestly. Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
I hope that's fine. I think we're both tired. And I'm hoping somebody in the near future would actually want to read our stuff as much as like Stephen King or Colleen Hoover or somebody. You know?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Well, until then, we'll
Um,
just keep doing
hmm,
what we're doing, and
you haven't exactly.
yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say about your wonderful story?
No, it was one of those that I, you asked if we had a paranormal story, and that was like, yeah, I've got this one.
Yeah, I don't see very many stories about hanging trees lately.
Yeah. And
Okay,
well, it's not
then
exactly a
I
ghost
suppose.
story, but it's definitely paranormal.
Oh yeah, that is why it's Paranormal Stories Day. Okay, if that, how about we tell these wonderful people good night and
That sounds
good
like
night,
a plan.
everybody. I do hope everybody has a great day or a great night. Oh yeah, let me put this thing up.